Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to day 14 of 30 Inks, 30 Days. This is the color that I'm writing with today. It's from Straits Pen Honest Ink, and it is called Happy Accident Lilac. It's from Ink Flight 30, the subscription box from Ink Journal. Now, what I've been noticing about this ink is that it kind of, it may be what they call a blurple or a blue-purple, because it does kind of show up differently sometimes, and you can kind of see that here, because here it is. This is Tomoya River 68 GSM, so just to keep that in mind. But wow, this is exciting. 2 weeks complete. And then tomorrow will be like the official halfway point, because that's day 15. But here we are, and let's go look for our ink. Here it is. I guess I'll keep yesterday. Well, I'll show you real quick. See how that works. This was definitely a blue, the ultramarine, but I will cover it so we won't be quite as distracted. Okay, so here's today's right here. We only have one more to go in the Straits Pen Honest Ink, and I've been enjoying this ink brand very much. These samples, this ink is really good. So, it is available at Lemur Ink right now, or at the time of the filming of this, which is September 14, 2019, but that could change at any moment. So, and there's also, you can find Straits Pen Honest Ink at select pen shows, and you can contact them directly, and I'll link you to them. If you cannot find it here, or if you're in another country and are not sure how to do it. Okay, so in the broad nib, this is what it looked like, and I was seeing, well, right around 42 seconds it was almost dry. I was making some guesses based on yesterday's. And then in the stub nib, here's what it looked like. The camera's brightening it a little bit right now. No telling what the next paper will bring. But at 50 seconds it was dry in the stub nib. At 45 it was still, you know, quite blurring quite a bit. I really, really love this. It's interesting. I didn't think I was really going to like this one. I thought, no, because it doesn't have the kind of brightness maybe that I go after, but that's what I love about getting the ink flights, because you try inks you would not otherwise try, and you get surprises. So, okay, so down here is in the fine nib, Lamy fine nib, and it took 25 seconds to dry. You know, and you do see quite a difference in how much ink is coming out, of course. First impressions, a pretty color. The flow is great. It's not as bright in tone as what my favorite purples are. But I know this has been a fun day so far, and there's plenty more writing to do today. It's smooth in all three pens on this Tomoya River paper. Yeah, I had a good experience on this. Here's the chromatography. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? All that pink comes right up and then gets into a little purpley magenta, and then it almost looks like a navy blue at the top. Very interesting. Okay, we're going to want to keep this around anyhow, so let's put this here. And then I do want to show you, today I did get a chance to do it on the 52 GSM Tomoya River paper, at least a little bit of ink playing. So here's like a swatch with a paintbrush, and here's, you know, I took, you know, drew some up in a syringe and then drew it back down into the vial, and then got plenty of air and just pushed it through. So that's always fun. And it really doesn't waste much ink. It may look like it, but that's like not even a drop. So here it is in the stub nib, the Goulet 1.5. But you can kind of, I don't know, the true color is coming through better here, although I do see it a little more muted than what the camera's showing. There's not a really large difference right now, so of what I'm seeing. Wrote this in the Lamy fine nib. This is the 52 GSM Tomoya River, and then this is written in the broad nib. So I just wanted to show you this. These are fun to do. Yesterday I didn't have time, or I forgot, one or the other. So let's get out the Rhodia. This is the Rhodia 80 GSM dot pad, and here we go. See how that, yeah, it'll play tricks with us. It looks dark, but it looks dark to my eye as well here. 35 seconds to dry in the broad nib. And then, you know, I didn't see a lot of shading coming out of my nibs, but I could see a better variety coming out of the stub, so that was fun. And then also even when I printed in the Lamy fine nib, so there was some shading, just not as much as I had seen before. Okay, almost dry at 30 seconds, 35 seconds in the stub. So it was almost the same as, that broad nib is a real wet writer too. Okay, and then in the fine nib, 14 seconds it was dry, 10 it was not. So I call that pretty close for me. I put best in the broad or the 1.5 stub. Color weakens in Lamy fine nib. Okay, that's for me though, because someone else, that might be your cup of tea. That really is nice and, I don't want to say dusty, but it's definitely lighter. So those that like the lighter, this is really pretty in the fine nib. It's just I like it darker or more ink coming out, I guess. Okay, let's put that here. And we'll hop right on to the CVS caliber paper. Whoop, that's yesterday's. Okay. Yeah, and we're going to look at the back of these pages because I need to remember to do that. Okay, here it is on the CVS, and yeah, it's a nice display of the color here. Really, it is. Here it is in the broad nib, about 40 seconds to dry, somewhere between 30 and 40, I guess, technically. And then in the stub, I liked how it looked there. Some variety was coming through. Not a lot of shading, but it was still pretty. It was dry at 30 seconds. It still wanted to smear at 25. And then in the fine nib, it was just about dry at 15 seconds. I thought it was a little too dry. And I actually preferred the broad nib over either one of these, the stub or the fine nib, on the CVS caliber paper. That's just on this paper though. But yeah, I think you're getting to see that beauty of the color. Okay, just light shadowing, nothing really that would bother me. And then from the Rhodia, let's see, I'll hold that up. Barely any shadowing or ghosting, whatever you want to call it. And then let's look over here. Okay. So this is typical with Tomoya River paper, and then once you get your writing on the other side, I don't think it would bother you at all. Let's look on the back of that other one. Okay, this isn't fair to look on the back of this, but still, we do have some writing we can look at, and then, of course, it isn't fair where it's painted and splattered on, so it did seep through there, but it didn't with the writing. The writing looks great, so that's just FYI. I think that's dry, but I don't want to take any chances. Okay, so let's look at comparisons, shall we? This was very interesting to do. It always is, and this was even more so. Excuse me. Ooh, want you to be able to read those bottom colors. Okay, so right in the middle is our Happy Accident Lilac. And that's when I started to realize, look how much it looks like Diamine Imperial Blue, which is a blurple for sure, but that one appears lighter. I don't know. That's just what it looks like. And then here's Ackerman number 4, Nassau Blue. We'll just call it that. These two are lighter, but they just feel like they're in that same zone, you know? And then the rest, I think what are on here really, well, Bilberry up here, Diamine Bilberry. That's got quite a bit of purple coming out. So for contrast, we can look at Rohr and Klinger Acacia. You know, it's more traditional purple. It's dark, but it still shows as purple in a nib. So there's quite a ways between those two. There really is. And then here's a darker one, Robert Oster Deep Purple. Very interesting. I had a hard time categorizing this, and of course I went through every purple I could find in my stuff, so I do have some extras here to look at, and even two that aren't yet done on the 3x3 panels. One is Sailor, well, you can read that, Sailor Sugar. I thought that looked a lot like it, but that's just a surface level glance on a different kind of paper, so that frustrates me, but these days are rolling by really fast. Monteverde Wisdom Purple. It appears to be brighter, maybe a little bit different in a tone, and it's going to be easier on these. So as far as another one that I think really kind of looks like purple, like purple out of a crayon box, purple that we learned when we were in kindergarten, Waterman Tender Purple. That's how it compares to that, just so you can see. I think that's when we really start to see kind of more what we're dealing with. So, yeah, and that's, of course, closer to Roaring Klinger Cassia, but even so, you can see how much darker the Cassia is. And then here's another bright purple, Birmingham Andy Warhol Pop Art Purple. And yet it's toned down some from the one before, from Tender Purple. And it's totally out of the zone of these. Oh, well, look at this. I did have Sailor Sugar. I'd been beginning to wonder about myself. Okay, that's a long way away, isn't it? But, of course, it reminds me it's sort of in the ballpark. Huh, especially to some of the other comparables, the suspects up here. So that's interesting. I'm glad to see I have that on a little square. There's got to be a whole day of organizing this stuff. I spent a lot of time last night doing the new ones that had come in. Here's Diamine Amazing Amethyst, another very complex ink. I like the complexity I see in Happy Accident Lilac, and I've always just really loved the Amazing Amethyst, how it looks. But we're not talking about the same color. You wouldn't get that if you were just crazy about this one. That wouldn't be a replacement. Okay, did we already do Imperial Purple? I don't think so, but here it is. Bright and totally out of this zone here. But many of you have it and would know what it looks like in person even, so that could help you. And then Montegrappa Violet. Gee, why didn't I just put this on the panel? It comes closer. I think it's because sometimes I do want to go brighter, lighter, and darker on the panel, because I think it may help. But that's just, you know, the mood of the day, I guess. So, but yeah, that's interesting. There's some similarity there. Okay, so how about we'll get into the little booklet and see what I thought of the ink so far. I mean, I'm going to continue writing with it the rest of the day. This is the little pen thing ink swatch log. And what I normally use is different because it's just a place to know it's the currently inked, and it shows me what I have in which pens, you know, pen, nib, ink, swatch, date, you know, so forth. So, but this one gives you a chance to sort of begin to rate your experience with the different scientific things that happen with the inks. And so, very interesting. I put color is best in broad and 1.5. Flow is excellent. I ended up really liking the color more, like I said, than I thought I would. Wonder why I put 6 for saturation. This is so subjective, it's almost like futile. I don't know. Must be I thought that it was lighter. And it is in a way, but I don't think I'm an expert on that. Flow I do know about, because that really makes a difference in my writing experience. And I say this ink is really flowy and good. It was a little bit marked low on shading because I didn't see very much, but you probably would if you have flex nibs and or vintage pens. No bleeding or feathering on the papers we're using. But, you know, this isn't an exhaustive review. This is 30 inks, 30 days, one every day. So dry time was, I thought, average. No sheen, halo, or shimmer that I could see. And I gave it an overall, kind of like right between 7 and 8, but I jotted down here color, because I think I'm swayed so heavily by color. And there are others that I like better, but this is a pleasant experience, and this may be your absolute cup of tea. So it's not like this is my rating, my opinion. You can tell I'm having a struggle with this whole thing of rating inks. Okay, so how about we try and see how it does on the Nick Stewart technique. Let's try that. So here's our background paper. Ooh, I have a hard time. Okay, this is the right side. Bring over the water. Big one and the little one. Okay, and we need to have okay, it was right here, but it had rolled under a little tiny little hidden spot. This one is holding up after Manuel glued it for me. So I'm happy because this is one of my favorite paintbrushes. I've had it a long time. And take a look at this. Oh, I just about wiped it out. Of course, I have a little bit left in the stub to use. And in fact, I may take what's in the fine nib definitely out and put it in the stub so I can write letters, and I'll write it gone, because this isn't even enough to, ooh, it barely rolls. So that says something, I think, because I was writing all over the place this morning, and then I had to go and do, well, I went and did my usual thing, happy thing for Saturday morning. So let's try this. And there'll be more writing. If I run out, then I'll have to fill with something else, but hopefully I won't. I think by the time I consolidate from the fine nib over to the stub, I'll be fine. Let's see. Ah, oh, this is just so pretty. Okay, I'm being shy with the ink. Come on now. Get it on there. There we go. Ooh, it's pretty. Okay, I expected spectacularly different results. Let's see. Isn't that funny? Because yesterday, didn't it kind of explode? But this is going to have really pretty chromatography. I'm quite sure. In fact, I need to get yesterday so we can look at it. It's behind me somewhere. Yeah. This is from yesterday. Now, picture-wise, it just didn't stick around, but I thought that was really pretty, all those colors coming out. You certainly can learn more about the ink by doing these, if nothing else. Oh, I like what's going on at the top. Let's see if I can... I like that. That's neat. You get something different every time, for sure. Whoop. If I had any in it, it'd be on my lap by now. Okay. Before we go to do the lower part, I might just see what happens here. Ooh, pretty, pretty. Looks like branches coming out. It's kind of fun. There we go. Okay, starting to be dry there. Can always add something in. That looks funny. Okay. Let's get a bottom row going. Get wild and crazy here. Okay, I'm going to use the broad nib for that. There may not be much ink left in there. Okay, that's cool. We always get a lot going on this side because it seems to pool. The ink seems to kind of pool over there. And I just like to see what happens. That's all. Not a work of art. It's just, oh, wow. Oh, isn't that cool up there? Okay, sometimes they look better when they dry. They, you know, the oddest things come out, so it's a lot of fun. I guess I'm just thinking about putting a little water on there. It's the funniest looking tree in the world. That's just to do away with the dot stuff, but that's okay. This is enough for me to see. Ooh, I like that foreground there, how it looks. Anyway, there we have it. Right there. Now, I think next I'll just show you what is for tomorrow. That is going to end up on something. Okay, so tomorrow we will cover the last Straits Pen Honest Ink in the ink flight. What were we talking about? Ink flight 30. So this will be the last one, and it's really, really pretty. I'm going to try to hold it over there because I think the natural light coming on it. It's got some complexity too. It's a gorgeous color, Bougainvillea purple. So that'll be for tomorrow, and then we'll be moving on to Colorverse, which is then the Ink Flight 31, I guess. Yeah, but this is for tomorrow, Sunday. And I want to show you one more thing before I ask you the question of the day. And that is, last night I went ahead and got these swatched. These came from Pure Pens from Pen Friend AW. Thank you so, so much. They're samples of these. It's a Celtic set, and it has 9 inks, and they're gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So we have these as well to not only profile, but to compare and to start to learn about. This is like, this is 101. I mean, I don't know anything yet. I have to get on the internet and learn, and it's fun. I mean, have to. I will, and I'll enjoy it. And I just see several of these colors that I like right off the bat. I was trying, because I'll be writing her the letter, and I was trying to decide which one I like the best. And it's like, I like this one, I like this one, I like this one. I like them all. They're so pretty. I guess those three just jump out immediately. But anyway, these are available to us now, and thanks to Pen Friend AW, and I appreciate it. And I got several more of the others done too, but I don't want this video to be all day. And that one was on a single panel. So here's the question. What did you think of today's ink? Hopefully you were able to see it in a way that shows it, you know, well enough to, you know, compared to some others you may be familiar with, because it is tricky to get through the lights, cameras, and everything else. But I like it. I really do like it. And I'm a purple addict, a complete, like I need to be on a purple band because I need to use what I have and enjoy it. But there's nothing I like better than learning about all these new inks. I think we're going to see a lot more from this company. But we will definitely see one tomorrow, which will be that the final one in the series. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.